Hayden Orpheum, it screens The Room the first Friday of every month. It's a cult classic now. 15 years ago, did you see The Room being at all this successful?
I didn't think anybody would see this movie. I thought, maybe Tommy's parents or something. And that was about it. I mean, making a movie is hard enough. Getting it out there is even more difficult. So, I didn't think this movie would get seen, which is incredible.
It's weird to think how much traction it gained, but you're actually in the country for the premiere of Best Friends, which sees, after 15 years, the on-screen reunion between you and Tommy. So what was behind that film before we actually delve deep into The Room?
I got a chance to see a rough cut of The Disaster Artist, which is the story behind the making of The Room. And I got to see a different side of Tommy in that film that I realized it all made sense. I think that the difficulty with The Room is I was fighting being a part of that because I didn't think it would go anywhere and I didn't think anybody would be interested in seeing that. And then once I embraced that and saw that Tommy as an actor could be interesting if he was put in the right part, I thought, you know what, knowing him so well, it'd be interesting to take that chance and try to write a film that he and I could do together and have him be taken seriously, or at least the way he would want to be taken seriously. And so that was really the goal of the film, to try to, like, all these years later, make something that would be coherent and that could be, in some ways good.
I was reading somewhere it's you got really invested into crime noir and like the Breaking Bad sort of character, and you wanted to force Tommy into that role. What was, if you could narrow it down to one person that you could see Tommy sort of relating to, who would he be in this film?
I would say a cross between Klaus Kinski and Bryan Cranston.
Ooh, that's a dangerous mixture. Yeah, that's a dangerous mixture. But you wrote this film and you co-produced it. Were things a little bit different this time?
They were. I think we both learned a lot, and I think Tommy just was ready to work again. I don't think he wanted to cause trouble. I don't think he was trying to make this his film. I think he said, you know what, you want to hire me as an actor, I'll show up and I'll do what you want me to do. And he was great to work with on this movie.
It was based on a road trip that you and Tommy took back in 2003. Is that right?
Yeah, we took a road trip up the California coast, 2003. He thought we were going up there because I had a plot to try to kill him, which I didn't at the time. But yeah, and so I just rolled with that. When I was writing the script, I was like, okay, let's go into, it's always those true experiences and those Tommy's intuitions that are interesting stories, and you can kind of dive into those and find more subtext, and that's what I did with that.
You said that The Room didn't actually pick up traction. You didn't notice until about 2009, 2010, when someone mentioned that it was being studied at universities.
Yeah, being studied at universities, a celebrity fan base, and once this article was published in Entertainment Weekly, it started screening around the world.
It's such a strange thing to think that it took that long for all of that to come to fruition. But then again, you wrote the book, and then it was picked up by James Franco, and then they made a film about it. And I believe Franco and Tommy talked over the phone, but Dave Franco, who played your counterpart, sought you out, and you guys met up at a sushi place in LA, and you guys talked for 3 hours. What did you talk about?
Man, we talked about everything. I mean, I talked to James first, and we had the conference call with Tommy, the three of us. And that was really funny because Tommy kept saying, well, who play me? And James was like, well, figure it out. Well, Tommy's like, you can't just figure it out. What about Johnny Depp? And James was like, well, I mean, sure. And Tommy's like, why you laugh? You don't know if you don't try. So it was like this kind of funny, awkward conversation. And I was like, James, you should do it. But James was like, hey, this is the movie I want to make. Out of all the things I'm working on right now, this is the movie I want to make. So he really stuck to his word. And then Dave and I, how'd you know about that? We met up for sushi and talked for like 3 hours. It's crazy.
Oh, I've got my sources.
Okay. We just talked. One of the things that Dave was really intrigued by is, like, did I think The Room could go anywhere? Like, did I think at all like this could be a break in any way? Because a lot of times as a young actor, you'll get your first part and you think like this is going to be the thing that's going to launch me, and you work on it for hours, and then it comes out and it's like, man, it's not good, and you kind of, it takes you a while to accept it. So, but what was different about The Room is that I knew Tommy, so it wasn't like I got cast in a part and I was making a serious film. It's like working with your buddy who was like, you're helping him make this movie. So as an actor, Dave was trying to step into the role of Greg and find some motivation and find some understanding. And it was a tricky role because, like I told him personally, I didn't think it would go anywhere, nor did I I didn't try to suck in the movie. I guess I did the best I could with the dialogue, but I didn't think it would go anywhere. But at the same time, I understood for Dave saying well, this character has to have the motivation of the hope that this could go somewhere. And so I think for him, him playing the Greg character is a little bit more hopeful, believing in the story, in the project, made the movie a little bit more relatable, and I thought that was important.
I was watching an interview last night, and they asked you who else you would have liked to have seen, and someone jokingly looked at you and said, "Oh, Macaulay Culkin." Did you have any other people in mind?
You know what? I thought when I was writing the book, I thought of Javier Bardem to play Tommy, and Ryan Gosling to play Greg. This was back in 2010, 2011. Macaulay Culkin would have been pretty awesome. I mean, that would have been.
He doesn't act these days, does he?
I just met him last week. I did his podcast a week ago. We talked about the script I wrote for Home Alone. It was you think it was weird meeting me, man. Imagine being 12 years old and writing the script that you're going to be with your hero in the Home Alone sequel, and then getting to
But you got a written response back though, didn't you?
John Hughes, yeah. So we talked about that and stuff. But yeah, Macaulay Culkin, I think is he's doing his podcast, Bunny Ears podcast, which is cool. And then I'm sure he's probably developing things and all that. But
coming here to do these events, how often a year do you reckon that you do these things? Give me a number.
The last year it's been crazy because the Disaster Artist came out.
Yep.
Then we've had Best Friends come out, which we showed here last night. So it's been nonstop. But no, it's amazing. How lucky to come to Sydney, and then this theater is one of the best theaters in the world. It's got 700 seats, and I think the most people see the room here per month in any theater in the world. And so it's just cool to be down here and be in such a great city with fans to come out and support and be in this theater. It's pretty rad.
To draw things out, do you have a favorite film cue in these interactive audience participation sessions? Do you have a favorite?
You know what I love? So there's a scene in the bedroom when Johnny's tearing apart the bedroom, and he grabs the armoire and he pulls the one drawer out, he pulls the second drawer out, and then he just tosses over the whole thing. And so the participation is 1, 2, fuck it. And it just plays beautifully when you watch it. I never would have thought of that, and it's just such a great moment.
Everyone, I've never seen anything like it. Everyone here gets into it. There's only 2 films ever in the history of films that happens. Rocky Horror Picture Show and The Room, of all things.
What's interesting is Rocky Horror makes sense because it's got great music in it. It's a little bit more, got the vibe where you participate with it, but The Room is just this movie where it's almost like people are walking in and out of doors saying hi to each other. You'd never see the ability to participate with the movie, but with the crowd it just comes alive, and it's got this magic to it.
Somehow it managed to go full force into the film industry. So
you could never plan for or try to create. It just happened to be that Tommy had this vision for this movie. He wanted to communicate with people. And it just shows he had this special voice that just works.
And that had happened, man. That's, again, that film, it speaks so many languages to people, People come here first Friday of every month and throw a spoon to the screen. They have the best time. And it's advised that you have a few drinks before you go in. And everyone's just having a ball. So, yeah, but for the future, man, and for Best Friends and all that sort of thing, part 2 comes out. It's in 2 parts, isn't it?
Yeah. 2 parts. We made it as one film. We kill billed it by the time we were editing it. But it's 2 very different films. They were a lot of fun to make. I think much different from The Room. Hopefully, equally enjoyable. The crowd last night was their expression was "What did I just watch? I need to find out more." No, it's cool. It's so much support here, and this theater is. It's amazing, to have it once a month and people be able to come here and yell, throw things at the screen, and it's pretty cool.
As Tommy would say, Greg, you big star now. So
Hollywood movie, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks so much for coming in, and I wish you the best luck.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.